6:30, not 6 for the rest of the meeting. So we basically kind of started our meeting reading a letter from the city engineer from the DPW, as well as the chairman for the Holyoke Planning Board, recommending that that this alley be discontinued and abandoned. They didn't see any public health, public safety, any issues not to do what you're petitioning for. I'm assuming you guys are the petitioners? Okay, well, the easiest thing to do is if you guys maybe wanted to come up, grab a couple seats, we'll put the mics on, and then we can have a little discussion. Yeah, we got no problem. We're all friendly. You just come on up.
I was here at the meeting with the Horse Parkers Committee. I saw this whole presentation. So.
I mean, you're really at the last stage of the game. You don't have to go into a exactly. I mean, we basically got the gist of it. All the materials were emailed it to us earlier. The DPW approved it. The planning board approved it. Two of the harder boards. So I mean, if you just want to give us the abridged version of it, and then we can certainly let these folks from the public speak in favor or against it, and we can go from there. Great.
My name is George Boyle. You just have to speak in the microphone, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, just give your name and your address. My name is George Boyle. I've been engaged by Hugo Poet to help work on this project. We have Seth Crocker, who is one of the principals, and Joe Kachowski, principal, and Matt McDonough. Unfortunately, couldn't be here tonight. He had to get called away to Connecticut, so two of the three principals are here. As you know, this is the project. We've been working kind of with the city since probably early March, late February. Met with the planning board, the DPW, and others back then, and that led to preparation of an A&R plan with the planning board to consolidate the 6 lots that we're talking about, and it was actually consolidated into 2. The 2 lots here are under present ownership of Human Poet LLC. 4 lots up here are with Janus Corporation, and they have, the principals have the letters of support and to act on their behalf on the transfer of these properties. And they have options to purchase. The A&R plan was approved March 29th of this year, basically consolidating those lots, as I had mentioned, into 2. We then came before the ordinance committee, I think it was last week, with the request for a zone change for these 6 parcels of land, which we had one of the public speaking favorably on it, and felt we walked away with a decent presentation. So tonight we're here as the kind of third action to get this thing rolling with the discontinuance of the alleyway. And the reason for that is, do you have that plan there? It just shows the location of the, if you can see this, this is the alleyway that we're talking about here that comes over to our property line on that block. And the reason for the discontinuance is this is the new building. And the old building footprint is right in here.
It just, if I could interrupt you, now the new building is what is proposed to be built, correct?
Yes, yes.
And the old building is that that's not the courthouse, or is that the Shaw's garage?
Oh, that's the courthouse.
Okay,
The
so
Shaw's garage is over here.
Gotcha.
Okay?
So Shaw's garage and the courthouse are gonna be torn down,
Yes.
and they're gonna build a new.
Shaw's garage as soon as possible, I guess, but the old courthouse will remain until this is ready for occupancy.
And that's the juvenile courthouse.
That's correct, right. And that's the, just for the transition to keep this in operation until we can transfer it over to that. So the reason for the discontinuance of the alleyway is the property line runs down the middle of the 16-foot alleyway. And as you can see, it's within the new building footprint and so on. Beyond the letters that you have received from the city planner and from the engineering, we also have, I don't know whether they were in your packets or not, the letters from David Conti from the Holyoke Water Works, Jeff Brillard from Senior Electrical Engineer for Holyoke Gas and Electric, a letter from Michael Miller, Construction for Comcast, and Albert Bissett, who was the right-of-way manager for Verizon, as well as the support letter from Donna Hatch from Janus Realty, all supporting it. And I guess the important thing is in it is that any utilities or facilities or infrastructure that'll have to be moved or moved and relocated and rebuilt will be done by the applicant at no cost to the city. And I believe you got those letters of support in your package, did you?
I did not, but I did speak to David Conti.
Okay.
And I did speak to Holyoke Gas and Electric.
Okay. If you need those, I can provide you with them.
I don't,
Okay?
we can, if anybody, does anybody want to see him? No.
I mean, I can read them for you if you want, but that's not necessary. Well, that's basically it, is we need the discontinuance of this, and it runs for about a distance of 290 feet to our property line as it comes off of Suffolk Street to the rear of that property line if you're going in that direction. And it will be, the discussion has been, and I think they're in agreement, that at the property line here, at the terminus of the discontinuance, there will be a gate, a locked gate there. So in the event something has to occur in this area or within the remaining part of the right alley, access can be gained because this is a parking lot here, so you can gain access to it from that. So they kind of keep it open, closed but open if necessary.
Now, when you say it's going to be a locked gate, who would have the keys? Like the
Would
police,
say,
water,
the-
fire?
The landlords for the building.
Okay, right. Is the landlord? I know Matt, but I mean, are the other principals local?
Right here.
No, I know what I mean. When I say I know they're right here, but I mean, do they live in Florida or do they live?
No, they can.
My name's Joe Kachopsky. I live in East Hampton, right over the mountain.
We can get if we need to get. I mean, ultimately, the cruiser could just crash through the gate anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine not going to put a.
Well, if it was necessary to give one to the fire department or the police, that's,
Right,
I don't see any
right.
problem
That's something
with
you
that
guys might
either.
want to just consider.
Yep.
And I will tell you, alleyways are kind of a headache for the city of Holyoke, the police department, the Board of Health, because the alleyway, the middle of the alleyway to the house is owned by that person, although they don't pay taxes on it. So if somebody decides to drive down an alleyway and dump a junk car or a television or a mattress, the person who's half of the alleyway that it is on, they're responsible to get rid of that.
I see.
So alleyways are a nightmare, and it's good news. So, but the fire department, have you any conversation with the fire department at all?
No, there hasn't been.
Okay.
No, there hasn't been.
Possibility, just food for thought, maybe a security camera in that alleyway or in the back
I
of the area.
think that they've already talked, I know Matt has talked about some security cameras during construction and probably afterwards where it is going to be used as a public facility.
Certainly, that would protect the new building, and it would protect the existing structures that are there in the neighborhood too.
I know Matt has mentioned that to me several times, so.
Yeah, there'll be cameras on the outside of the building facing all the corners, and for sure one can be facing the alleyway.
Okay, thank you.
So, just so I'm clear, so the old juvenile courthouse is being torn down eventually, or this is kind of the game plan, and a new juvenile courthouse is being built?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, got it.
Not owned by the city, it'll still
No, right,
taxes
it's owned by,
paid
yep.
to the city.
No, it's just that you guys are gonna own the land.
Yes.
Right, gotcha. Thoughts, comments, questions? Folks, any thoughts, comments? It's open, you can say whatever you want. You can say you can't stand the idea, you can say it's the best thing in the world.
I love the idea, but I have nothing to add.
Okay, now, if I could, are you guys in that area? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I like I said, I haven't had a problem with it. When I heard this was coming up, but I already reached out to some of the guys in the water department, Dave, and the gas and electric, and the planning board approved it, the Department of Public Works. I imagine it's in front of us just to make sure there's no safety issues, but they're gonna have cameras. I would strongly recommend, though, that you do consider getting a set of keys like they got for all the lock boxes, the fire department and the cops, they put a little key ring on it, and then if they have to gain access, God forbid there's a fire somewhere in the, if they wanna be able to reach it from all sides. Might just wanna consider giving them a key, talk to the chief, he'll take it, and then they'll have it on their rings.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because that gate, maybe they will require a certain width to it if they need access for the back of the, coming in the other direction from the alleyway, so. Yeah, I'm sure we can pay attention to that.
Do we have a motion?
Move to accept the proposal, right? That's, I would think, that's.
Yeah.
Close the public hearing. Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Make a motion we approve this plan as written.
Second?
All in favor?
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
All set. Tomorrow night, it goes to the full council. They're
I
gonna
was
hear.
gonna ask you, yeah.
There, if they decide to suspend the rules, which is highly unlikely, and get you to speak some way on it, they will. But typically, you know, the committees, we're recommending 4-0 to the full body that this petition be approved. And the fact that you already got the DPW, the fact that it's really not costing the city anything, it's gonna be, you know, I think the state owns that building, correct?
No, they own the building.
Oh, no, but I mean, who owns courthouses?
The state will be leasing it, I believe,
Oh, I got you.
as they do.
These guys have several other
Oh, yeah, right.
courthouses.
Yeah, Matt's done Westfield, Belchertown,
That's to keep them out of courthouses.
Commerce, yeah.
That's just
Hadley.
that's just so they keep them out of them, right?
Hallie, when you mentioned the full council's meeting tomorrow night, do you wish us to be there?
You don't need to be.
No?
I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I find it very unlikely that we're gonna have any issues with that. They're gonna have all this information, that you've already provided. I mean, if you wanna leave those letters of, I could certainly make copy, if somebody else has copies, I can put them out on everybody's table, just so they see all the boards that
Okay,
have
sure.
approved it.
I might suggest, knowing the makeup of the full council, you may want to have a representative here just in case. I don't, you know, I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah.
But just in case, there's 15 counselors,
Yeah,
you know, so
and what time does that
But-
meet? 7
7
o'clock.
o'clock. I mean, that's up to you guys, but.
Right, but I would say that, you know, it probably won't get even spoke about till after 7:30, because
Okay.
it's not, you know, we gotta accept the minutes from the last meeting, and they have all these orders and possible people being appointed. I mean, it starts at 7. You can see it's clearly kind of warm in here, so you might wanna bring some ice water,
Yeah.
right?
It's up to, it's really up to you
Yeah, it is
guys.
up to you, but I
Yeah, it
haven't heard.
doesn't, just from tonight and from last Monday there, it just seemed that, it's a friendly atmosphere, let me put it that way.
Well, just don't talk about our school department.
And, no, and as I had mentioned last week, Ryan Allen
Yep,
has been very helpful in this.
Great.
Keeping us informed at every step, and, I just wanted to mention here.
good, it is good to hear. Thank you. Yep, thank you. Good luck, guys.
Great, thanks.
Adjourn?
He's doing
Move to
pretty
adjourn?
good.
Motion
He's
to
still
adjourn?
Straight out,
Second.
but,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
got a tough road to hoe right now, you know. He's down to a funeral of somebody else down in Connecticut right now. I will, Jimmy, yeah, he's. Yeah, no, he's hanging in there as tough as anything. Matter of fact, he's been talking for I don't know how long about putting a barn up on his property. So he called me yesterday, you probably know, you're already doing it, do you? But you got the land that he did the deal with his neighbor to buy a punch out so he could put the barn there, and you got the plans. And, yeah, I'm gonna drop those off for you.